desire to not want to get into the details. We don't exactly respect a lot of things about us.
Yeah.
I was in this phase of, okay, what happens now? Like, I'm sure maybe things will be okay after a few days. Like, whenever I meet people like you all, I genuinely cry, inside or outside or both. That's how
Ace of Pubs was born.
In a way, yeah.
Oh. Alright, so today's conversation is between me and Tilak Shah, who's the founder of the biggest quizzing company in India, Ace of Pubs. I met Tilak back in 2019 and have been hosting with them ever since. It's been an amazing journey. Tilak has found this company from scratch. He's going to tell us all about that and also about our love for hosting. So let's just get into it. Was it quizzing or hosting?
Hosting. I'm not sure, even now, after 5 years of Ace of Pubs, I'm still not, I don't know if this will cause any sort of problems later on, but I'm still not as much into quizzing as much as I was and I'm into hosting.
Okay, so how do you differentiate them?
So when I'm talking to people about Ace of Pubs, not necessarily team members restricted to, but even otherwise clients, sponsors, it's not so much about quizzing, but it's more about the entertainment and engagement through quizzing. Like, I don't want to find the smartest table at a quiz night through an Ace of Pubs quiz. I want to make sure that all the tables have a good time. That's the key differentiator, if that's a way to put it.
And I think the smartest table is usually not the best one for the host. I mean,
yeah, either way, they're definitely I know it for a fact that a lot of serious quizzing communities don't, for the lack of or for the desire to not want to get into the details, they don't exactly respect a lot of things about us.
Yeah.
And for me, how I see it is that, hey, we're just making it more inclusive. I don't want to go to a pub and feel out of place when I'm with my friends and family or colleagues from work where there was like 50 questions and I didn't know anything. I don't want anybody to feel that, but those people many people apparently thrive on that. Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. Sure, man. But there's a big enough market for both.
Yeah. So, how did it all start? How did the hosting start, and then how did it transcend into quizzing?
School, not as much, but it started in school, and then in college, I enjoy hosting events like college festivals, and I remember hosting my own parent-teacher association, PTM.
Really?
So I'm talking about my results on a stage to my parents and my teachers in the crowd. Like, ideally, somebody else should be doing it. Yeah. So I just really enjoyed it. When I had my corporate job, every time I would get an email saying, oh, there's a team meetup, or there's a town hall, or there's an offsite. And I would always reply, and it was a big company, so I would always reply by, hey, give me a chance to host it, because I was in a consulting firm, not anywhere related to hosting events. So I would use that chance. I would get everybody would get irritated that, okay, one more event.
Why is the same guy irritated with what?
No, they would get irritated at the number of emails HR would send saying team bonding and team dinner and team offsite and town hall. But I would use that as an opportunity to reply back to them saying, hey, let me host it. I never did because they would get the likes of Baman Irani to come in and host. So it was an established thing. But then maybe around the 10th month of me being in the company, and maybe when Baman or somebody else would have said no, like, okay, let's give him a shot because he's been asking for a while now.
Oh, Achha, so you were persistent about it that you want to host?
So when I did that event was in Mumbai. And then in my head, I thought I was good at it and all, but I got that little bit of validation where they said that, hey, we're doing the same thing for the senior leadership team, but in Delhi next week. Can we fly you down? I'm like, fuck yes. Like, why not? But that also was like an eye-opener where, okay, it's not just me who thinks I'm good at it or so on.
It's
not even the whole thing, but somebody else out there also believes that, okay, it's worth taking, and they can't pay me for it because I'm on their payroll. So they can't pay me additionally for this. So I realized that, okay, there is a scope. How Ace of Pubs started post office hours, one of those days, much before this chance, we decided to go to a pub which happened to have had a quiz that night.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, and the gentleman who was hosting it, I still remember, he was like dressed up as if he had come from office.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, if he can do that and he's getting to host, I want to host and I still want to keep my day job. This is perfect. And so that's the inroad. And now we're like team of about two.
Back then you joined another, like how I freelance host for you. Suppose you were freelancing for some other agency.
Yes.
Right? All right.
it's a cool story. So, of course, like I was committed to the idea that this allows me. I'm not getting into the quiz content, all the back end. They tell me where to go and all, and they used to, in a good way. I mean, they used to use me for strategic events, which meant like more business for them and so on. This one time, a lot of restaurants used to reach out to me, and we used to connect them, and that's how it would work. One of the restaurants said that, hey, we want to do a Bollywood quiz. Is that something that, your team can do? I'm like, sure. And so we connected them to them, and they said that, oh, we don't do Bollywood.
Okay.
It was one of those serious quizzing companies. So for them to do something like the big Bollywood quiz was, oh, not yet. I'm like, okay, hey, and I have this on email still, that, do you mind if I do it? Because they've anyway reached out and you don't want to do it. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So that's how
Ace of Pubs was born.
In a way, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really interesting. Also, that is why a big Bollywood quiz is our big thing.
In a way, yeah, because that is there was this place called the Bombay Bronx at Breach Candy in Mumbai. Place very close to my heart, simply because they gave us like a platform for 3 months on a weekly basis. When there was no Ace of Pubs, it was just like, it was a bit cringy, but it used to be like Tilak Shah. Because I was the host and also I'm the quiz master guy or whatever. Very fancy place, and it had like a 10 feet tall Amitabh Bachchan painting from Diwar.
Oh, nice.
Like the place was meant for like a Bollywood quiz, and it was crazy. We got so much coverage, newspaper. They had gotten like very good sponsors on board. Like each quiz night were prizes worth about 35,000 rupees. Going out in the form of a hamper.
Oh, amazing.
In total. Yeah, it was movie tickets, which we still do and all, but that particular thing, and that's what like, okay, yeah, sure, this can work.
Amazing. So what is it about hosting? Why that love for hosting?
I think it's almost magical how one person, assuming that there's one host for whatever event, one person has the ability. That ability is what I find magical, to be able to create an impact on so many people. The better the host you are, and by better, it's a very subjective term, the bigger the impact you can have on as many people who are seated in front of you. I'm not saying it's easy or tough, but I'm just saying it's beautiful. And it's so much power, how you use it. And I mean, with all due respect, like our prime minister or our politicians, they are all, in a way, they're hosting their rallies.
Yeah.
They are the MCs for their own events. How they use that power is what makes them who they are. And in our own capacity, without getting into the serious stuff, when we're looking at Ace of Pubs or anything else as well, like what we do for our corporate clients, that ability to be able to connect with people only through the power of your speech. I'm not saying that I'm going to win them over by giving them jobs. I'm not saying I'm going to win them over by giving them, like throwing a party like no other. I'm only trying to win them over through the power of my speech. And by winning them over, we're talking of engaging them, entertaining them showing more interest, being more interested in what you're doing. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. I never thought about this, the power our speech holds at that. So why I love hosting is, and this is why I've almost stopped doing stand-up, is because in stand-up you're just talking at them. When it comes to hosting, you're talking to them, and I like deriving that energy from the audience and making the whole room come together. That is the part.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, that is.
It's like when you joined us, you were a full-time comedian. And now that's pretty cool. So, like, it's always relevant. It's always fresh.
Yeah.
Even if you're attending your 10th quiz this month, it's still going to be... You can't attend 10 comedy shows in a month.
Exactly.
I'm not saying you attend 10 quiz nights in a month anyway, but if you would...
There are people who do that, by the way.
Yeah. And to them, like, is it that camera?
That camera.
To them... if it's a quiz night, that's great. But when it's an Ace of Pubs quiz night, like whenever I meet people like y'all, I genuinely cry, inside or outside or both. But I do. It means so much. That same power that we spoke about, the power, the magic. Like through the power of speech, we have created something which is a part of people's lives on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's until Effingit and Fourth City I discovered this, that okay, we can make a regular audience for it, because otherwise the Delhi seat, right, it fluctuates. But now there are people coming in every week who are personally messaging me on Instagram, hey, Are you coming this week?
Yeah.
Are you hosting?
Yeah.
Because you
That's beautiful, man.
That's quite something. Yeah. All right. So, about the concept of pub quiz. So, did you have in mind that this is the only thing that you want to go ahead with? And
cool, man. So, if I'm talking about Ace of Pubs to somebody, like in my head, there's no script per se, but this is how the conversation usually goes. Like, okay, I was at I enjoyed hosting. I was at EY, town hall and all of that, pub quiz. That's how I discovered the Bollywood quiz. Sorry. How Ace of Pubs came about, and no, it wasn't. So when I left EY, I'd done 2 events for them on a very big scale, like at the St. Regis in Mumbai and at the Le Meridien in Gurgaon, just over here.
Yeah.
And so those are big events, and I had a few pub quizzes going, which was for the other company, but on an individual basis. So I'm like, okay, kuch na kuch ho jayega. Like, there's a little bit of corporate. I'll build my schedule. Irish House, I did some events for St. Patrick's Day in an individual capacity. There was no Ace of Pubs then. So I was like, I'm leaving this job so that I can do all the things that I love to do. And I choose to do no other things that I don't want to do. Like in a job or when you're in employment, you have to do things whether you like them or not. You have to execute them as per your understanding or agreement contractually. What I wanted to do was not that. I wanted to take on projects only and only the ones that I want to do. So I'll figure it out. Okay, I have a few pub quizzes. I want to host events for Manchester United. I want to host events for the Premier League in India. I want to do stuff for Star Sports in India. And while I've done all of that, I didn't picture back then that we would be doing about 200, 220 quiz nights every month across 25 cities, having people like yourself feeling so strongly for the organization. So how it started off was just one night when I had that Bollywood quiz. I also had another venue. So every time it would be like, okay, I'm doing Wednesday this night. Like how, okay, so Thursday is available or Tuesday is available. But this particular brand said that, no, we need to do that Thursday only. So I was already hosting on Thursday and another brand said, no, we can't, no other days work, only Thursday. So I asked one of my friends in college, from college, who I used to host events with. I was like, hey man, do you want to try this? Because you don't need to be into quizzing. You get the quiz content. You get everything in place. You just have to go and host. And it's actually a lot of fun. He would have seen me also before I asked him. So like, okay, sure. And then that night, both the venues were happy.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. Like, I thought at best 4 days in a week, Monday to Thursday. At best 4 weeks in a month. I'll get 16 events every month of pub quiz. Weekends will be bigger Premier League matches and all. And during the day, kabhi hua to corporate hua. So 16 was my upper limit.
Yeah.
Till I realized that, I just did 17 this month because Aditya stepped in.
Okay.
And then like that, so Aditya team was my friend, and that's now a team of 120 hosts. Another friend was helping with the quiz content. So now we're a team of about 25 content curators. Another friend was just like, okay, I can make your creatives digitally. And now he runs a digital agency who's been with us on retainer for 5 years.
That's great.
So every avenue has grown.
That's amazing. All right. And just would like to end it with, where do you think this is going? Not just quizzing, but your love for hosting and hosting things in that.
In the pandemic, when restaurants, like with so many other industries, were poorly hit and they were shut, I was in this phase of, okay, what happens now? Like, I'm sure maybe things will be okay after a few days or weeks. You don't know when the lockdown was announced, how long it's going to take, or a few years. But what about right now? And we were in that phase where it was March 2020, and we were, say, the lockdown was announced on the 15th of March or 14th of March, and 17th March is St. Patrick's Day. Which is like such a big deal for us.
Yeah, of course.
Nationwide with Irish House. So all of a sudden we're like at this super high frequency where 100 events, 120 events that month.
I think that is when we were doing the grants thing also.
Afterwards.
Oh, was it? Okay, it was after. But I think it was just starting.
It was about to start.
It was about to start,
Yes, and that since you mentioned, that's a good one. I'll tell you what happened about that part as well. It's actually beautiful. So 14th of March, the lockdown gets announced, and all of a sudden 17th of March being a big day, the whole month, like I was at this frequency where we're looking at doing so many things, and like within a snap of a finger, I didn't get it right the first time. Within a snap of a finger, it all just disappeared. So it took me a couple of months. I don't use the word lightly because I understand what it means, but I was borderline depressed because I've built it from scratch, bootstrap, from zilch, from nada, nothing. And then to get it there and then to face that. But, you know, a couple of months in, we started doing IG live quizzes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And the conversation from my end to the restaurants was, hey, we're not charging you for this, but it's important for you also to be relevant for whenever we might open up.
Yeah.
We don't know when that is. So we'll go live from your page and go on and, you know, do stuff. And that is when, after doing that for a couple of months, FOC, grants reached out. And they're like, we have that. I mean, obviously, they didn't say this directly, but the conversation was on the lines of, we have those number of events approved from before the pandemic, which was supposed to happen offline, what you mentioned.
Yeah.
But we have the PO approved, but we couldn't do it. Do you have any other solutions for online? I'm like, hey, we've been doing this thing.
Yeah.
Grants Trivia Nights live on Instagram went on for, I think, about 28 months from there on.
Oh.
Well after the pandemic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know
we used to do it from their Instagram handle, massive campaign. The whatever quiz nights we were supposed to do on ground, we did online. Coming to the answer, how I see this and how I see it is, we have a Kevin in Delhi, we have a Shayan in Bangalore, we have a Hriday in Hyderabad, we have a Joshua in Mumbai. And they're hosting pub quizzes with us, which is great. They enjoy it. It's not bad money. It's not great, but it's not bad. They get to go out and all. But Kevin, Joshua, Hriday, Shayan, everybody is able to contribute more should I give them the right canvas. Right now, the canvas is pub quiz. And then we're doing 200 a month. That's testimony. Like that they're doing a good job on a weekly basis. Why not? Why can't Kevin do a corporate quiz as well? Why can't Kevin do a corporate team building? He has the ability to host. That is the foundation. And hosting pub quizzes means you've interacted with all kinds of people.
Yeah, exactly.
वहाँ पे तो भी कितने सीधे साधे लोग होते हैं corporate से. So if a Kevin in Delhi, a Shayan in Bangalore, a Hriday in Hyderabad can also host corporate events with us. And now I think you were there for the SEO event in Gurgaon.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had some of our Bangalore team members. Shayan, everybody does corporate quizzes whenever inquiries come up. And so now we're in the F&B space. We're trying to get established in the corporate space. We're also eventually going, in those 2 months of what I refer to as a brief period of depression, I'm like, okay, we need to think long term now. So I made I don't think I've shared this in public anywhere, but I made a 25-year plan. So Ace of Pubs is F&B, quiz, engagement, alcohol sponsorships, restaurants. Ace of Trades is corporates, team building, soft skills, alcohol, and quizzing. Ace of Grades.
Okay, this is the one I've never heard of.
Yeah, is student engagement, soft skills, quizzing, and more on the lines of training, what you don't get in your textbooks. We've not started yet. Ace of Hearts is what it comes across as a wedding. That's the biggest market in a lot of ways for events. So to get into that, abhi to kuch hua bhi nahi hai, not done even one event. But yeah, so the idea is Ace of Blades, sports management and backend. So like ticketing, hospitality, literally sport athlete management, social media and all of that for them. So it's all rhyming with the 4 suits of playing deck. Clubs, grades, trades.
That's a good Easter egg, man.
Yeah. So 25 years.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, that's great, dude. That makes me happy to hear all this.
Yeah, and for the fucking longest answer to your question, all of that, there is only one thing in common.
Yeah.
Hosting. And people who enjoy it.
Yeah.
Nobody is a full-time, there are full-time MCs with us, but not a majority of them are full-time MCs, but they can now do all of this, being a part of something pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Alright, so you know how much we really love hosting, and this was all about that. Also, Ace of Pubs does regular quizzing events all over the country. If you want to check that out, go to aceofpubs.com. The website link is in the description. And if you're in Delhi, you never know, you might just bump into me hosting a quiz. And if you like the video, then actually like it and share it with someone who might also love hosting. Until then, watch a previous episode of the podcast, which is somewhere here.